We'll begin by logging into our Rentelect account. You can do that if you're on our main site by clicking the login button in the top right. If you happen to be on our blog, you can also do this by clicking the login button in the top right. If you do not have a Rentelect account yet, you can sign up for free by using the sign up button. Let's go ahead and log in. We'll have other videos to explore other areas of the application, but today what we want to do is go to the email marketing. So click the email marketing tab and then switch to email.rentelect.com. Since we want to send a new campaign, there are two ways you can get started. There's a Create New Campaign button on the right, or there's a Create Send tab on the top. Let's try that. Once there, just click Get Started. I'll use a campaign name of Demo, and just for demonstration purposes, I'll reuse the campaign that is relevant to this blog post. Everything else has been pre-populated since I've been here before, but if these are blank, you want to tell your users who you are and how they can reply back to you. Click Next. When beginning to craft the content for your email campaign, there's a number of ways you can begin. There will sometimes be templates that have been pre-populated, and I've got a few here. Your account may look different than this, and we have other videos that describe how templates can be brought in, how you can create your own, or how Rentelect will pre-populate them for you. We'll defer that conversation to another video. But you can always use the template builder if nothing else. We will also be demonstrating a little bit more detail of how this particular mechanism within Rentelect works, but just want to make sure everyone's aware of it. It's definitely worth exploring. It's very powerful. But for today, I'm going to select this template since it's the one that's applicable to the blog post. So I'll select that and click Next. As the panel on the left indicates, all the content on the right can be dynamically edited by clicking the Edit button, which basically brings up a WYSIWYG editor, allows you to select photos, change colors of text. Let's go ahead and give that a try. Let's change the main photo area here by clicking the Edit button, which brings up this small dialog on the side. Let's go ahead and navigate and look for some photos. Let's go ahead and pick this one. It'll be dropped in. You know what? I'm not sure I like that one. Let's remove that and go back to this one. As you can see, it's very easy to change the content of the look and feel by using these navigation mechanisms. There's some very powerful SEO capabilities that are brought to bear here as well. So as you can see over here, we can add alternate text. So if you wanted to bury things like that in your email, it's very easy to do that. Every email campaign that you send is hosted on the web by Rentelect, so that people who may not have even received your email campaign will be able to find it later. It's very important to realize that. Every campaign you send basically winds up being a web page for you. It's searchable from anywhere on the web. People can find it and click through to wherever you want them to go. So for instance, if we go back and re-edit this, there are ways to add links. So if you wanted it to go to your site, your inquiry page, your blog, it doesn't matter where you want it to go, you can put that in here, and then when the email campaign goes out and somebody was to click on it, or the hosted archive of that is hung out there by Rentelect and someone clicks on it, they will be redirected to wherever you want them to go. Go ahead and save those changes. There's also dynamic editing for the text, so if I type here, you can see that it winds up changing down below. You can change things to be different colors. You can change things to be different sizes. It's very dynamic, and you can also have photos in the template as well. We'll be covering a lot of those details in much more granular fashion in another video, but I just want to give a quick demo of this. Now, if we preview this, it removes the editor. We can go back and forth and make changes again, but if you click the preview button, what you see now is a removal of all the editor related items, all those WYSIWYG controls, and this is literally what your guests will see when the email goes out. This is also what the web hosted version looks like. I won't continue editing this. I'll show you the finished version of this in a moment, but let's go ahead and move on to the process of defining the recipients. What we have here, this list of subscribers 787, it relates to all of the past historical inquiries that you may have imported into Renelect, or the inquiries that Renelect has auto-imported should you enable that. The snapshot shows us all of the recipients that you've chosen, the content that you've chosen, the subject lines, everything else. This is in effect a snapshot as it shows there. This is what will go out. If you want to look at a preview, you can click this, and a rendering much like you saw in the preview will appear, so you can double check things. Once you're happy with that, you can go ahead and go on to the next step, which concerns delivery. We recommend that you do send yourself a real email, a live email to an account that makes sense to you. You can just select one that you've previously used, or you can type in one from scratch should you have, if you haven't done it before, and then click the send test email button. You get this indication here, and if you go over to your email, Renelect will have sent you an email, and this is literally what your guests will be receiving. So that's a good way for you to double check everything that looks and feels the way you want it to, has the proper tone, and obviously it looks great coming through whatever email client you happen to be looking for. When you're happy with that, let's move on to the next step, which allows you to deliver it right now or schedule it sometime in the future. You pick an option that makes sense to you, and then you proceed to the next step where you would give us your payment details if you haven't done. So let's go ahead and switch over to the details of tracking this. Let's imagine that the campaign went out and it's a few days later or a few moments later, and you want to see how the campaign is progressing. And we do that by going to the Reports tab and then selecting the campaign. In my case, it was President's Week 2013 was the name I gave it. If you click on that campaign, there are several types of analytics that you can use to examine how things are going. The top level here is a snapshot. Gives you all kinds of graphs and indicators about how many people opened it, how much bounce activity you got, whether there were any unsubscribes, things like that. It all shows up here. You can, if you did put some links, I demonstrated links on images before, they will all show up here. And the really interesting part is if you click Email Overlay, this shows, again, this is not the one I just demonstrated, but this is the live one that I did send out. Any place within the email campaign that you had a link, Renelect will track all those out in the recipient community. If someone clicked, we will know that, we'll track that, and we'll render it here for you. So you'll be able to visualize whether you're getting the response or not. If you had a call to action, in this case a Book Now button that I put in, you'll see that 22% of those who opened it did indeed click on that. Here's an image link. 15 people clicked on that. Similarly up here, there was some other content that nobody clicked on. So if you are getting indicators like that, you might want to drop it if it's not interesting. All the way down the page, all those links are there. So this is powerful and allows you to tune things as you move forward and try other things. We do encourage you to experiment, because what works for some may not work for others. Test, test, test. That's the mantra. There are all kinds of different reports that we have over here. I'll just click on a few of them. Worldview will bring up a map, and this particular campaign went out to about a dozen countries. At least I should say the recipients who actively opened or clicked a link were in about a dozen countries. We'll be able to render for you on the map exactly where they were when they did that. Email client usage. There's several things. We'll have different videos to explain all of those in a little bit more detail, but just wanted to let you know that they're there, so feel free to explore. Well, that wraps up this video companion to the blog article. If you're not already signed up for the Runelike preview, we encourage you to do that. Just visit our blog and then click the sign up button at the top. It'll bring you to this the sign up page. You can sign up for free, and you can test drive everything that I just demonstrated. We hope you join us. Happy renting.